Hey guys. Okay, so first off, I gotta say, even though Creed and Homer had only a couple pages worth of spotlight in this chapter, they already have such a delightful dynamic that I kind of want them in their own alternate universe spin-off series now. Like the first thing that comes to mind, just from based off their back and forth, is I want these two in a buddy cop in a buddy cop in a buddy cop like in a buddy cop like from one shot or something like that. Nah, like that. That's kind of the first thing that comes to mind is a buddy cop kind of like one shot story or something. I really want to see that now with these two. Uh, and that's really what comes to mind when I see how they interact. Getting serious though, Creed mentions that Elsie is just as dangerous as Shura, and that there's a reason they need to stop her just as much as they need to focus on stopping Shura. And just from Creed saying that, there's definitely more than just her history with justice and starting the whole civil war back on her planet being the reason why they're pretty much trying to stop her now. But in fact, I think it's fair to say this is kind of one of those reveals for me that basically says that the pretty much all link the all link system is basically the one thing that's pretty much tying everyone together. Like everyone like the all link system is kind of at the center of everything, and everyone is kind of converging on it, and and it's what's brought everyone together on this planet. The only question I honestly have with this is why Elsie would want it, because Nero and Ziggy's reasons are pretty straightforward, but unless there's another function to it, we don't know. We we we, we, unless there's another function to it that we don't know about, I can't conceivably understand as to why Elsie would even want the all link, honestly. Like there's only two conceivable reasons I would think she would even seek it out, which is either to destroy it or to take command of the weapon that the Nero Empire possesses. Because again, I think it was mentioned a while back that on top of being able to like pretty much like stop and like pretty much destroy machines or reprogram machines. Apparently, the O-Link is also tied to a certain weapon that the Nero Empire possesses. So Elsie could be trying to take command of that. But yeah, I'm not sure. The only other conclusion I can draw aside from that is that the O-Link, when used in a certain way, can act as a sort of a link or sort of or a link or sort of or sort of like or sort of a roadmap back to find Mother. But that's the only other thing I can think of. Like I genuinely have no idea as to why Elsie would want the all link right now. That's the biggest mystery with this chapter for me. If anyone has got any idea, just tell me in the comments. Cause yeah, I got nothing for this reveal, frankly. Um, I also like how we get a little bit more characterization of Creed in this chapter, and that even though a lot of his back and forth with Homer was played for laughs, you can see like he genuinely doesn't want to fight Homer or see her branded as a criminal. Like it's the one thing that I think to him he's trying to avoid right now. Although although that just makes the realization all the more emotionally crushing that yeah, even if he wants to avoid that, it's probably going it's probably it's the fact is that Homura and Trita are more than likely to end up on opposite sides again, but by the time this is all said and done, or maybe even before that point. In fact, honestly, there's a lot about this chapter that really feels like it's building things like a little bit slowly to the climax. Like everything involved in this chapter that pretty much wasn't that wasn't the whole like card game between Rebecca and Lyra. It felt like all these other little pieces of the chapter were are slowly and subtly building like towards the climax right now. And yeah, I think that's gonna be something pretty heavy. But with that said, let's actually get into the card game between Lyra and Rebecca, because it officially begun in this chapter, and it's amazing how Mashima has a talent for turning a simple game into what I can only describe as a psychological game of Russian roulette with cards. And like that's literally the first thing I thought about. Like this is literally Russian roulette with cards. And while I'm not gonna rule out some trickery on Lyra's part, in fact, I'm almost positive that there's some trickery afoot after reading this chapter. I also like the idea presented that just by using a simple card stacking trick in the beginning of the chapter, Lyra had already succeeded in kind of forcing Rebecca to psych herself out by overthinking overthinking what card she has and what card she has and what card like Lyra has. So yeah, it's again from what we know about Lyra's abilities though, she's definitely pulling something. In fact, I don't even believe like Cat Leaper is working in the way Rebecca thinks it is, because well, don't get me wrong, like when we don't get me wrong, we pretty much see Rebecca outright using Cat Leaper, and her ether gear itself is working, but at the same time, when you really look at this setup, it practically screams that it practically like the setup is practically that Lyra is using her ether gear to manipulate the game in conjunction with her ether counter ability. In fact, the in order I think she's using her ether counter and her ether gear in conjunction with each other in order to control the outcome of the game. In fact, with the information we got that Lyra has only ever lost to Nero himself, and in that loss she ended up having to replace her eye, that pretty much tells me that there is ultimately something that's counteracting Rebecca's Cat Leaper. It's if there is something that is doing that, it's definitely Lyra's eye, and more than likely it's with I think that eye of hers is probably able to see through from just the time jump while it's happening. So all Lyra has to do is just act accordingly to it using her own power like that. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but I think it's something within that vein, because it's the only thing I can think of as to how Rebecca is able to use her time jump so many times and end up with the exact same result. Like it has to be that from Lyra can basically see through her ether gear or something like that. Now, granted, Mashima's also given us a bit of a clue as to how Rebecca can beat Lyra, because he did take the time to show two moments where Rebecca actually did beat Lyra with a high card. So that tells me there are certain intervals where Lyra either has limited use of her power after extended use or cannot use her power at all. But the question becomes, does Rebecca have the stamina to keep this up? And from can she act within those intervals? Because even if she reverses time, she can't. She's gonna have to find a way in order to act fast, like from before Rebecca, like before Lyra can even activate her power to switch the cards or whatever she's doing. So yeah, it's kind of right now she's kind of in a tall order, and she's got to Rebecca has to think fast right now. Like this is kind of a worst case scenario for Rebecca. I think right now she has to get out of this somehow. Um, with that being the case, though, I will admit Lyra bringing up Nero does kind of make me wonder where the hell like Nero himself is right now, or what he's doing, because it's been a while since we last saw Nero at all, really. And I don't think Mashima's forgotten about him, but it does beg the question of what the plan is for his character. I can assume that since he's got the whole motif of letting his dice determine his actions, he's waiting for a certain point before he acts, if at all. And if there again going back to what I said about how this chapter seems to be subtly building up to the climax. If there's ever a point for Nero to pop up again, it's probably going to be in the climax of this arc. So, like everyone else, he's probably waiting for the All Link to activate or something like that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst, Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share this video around, guys. Death and that signing off. Later, all.